Woohoo! Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Starting a little bit earlier this evening. So let's try to make the best of it. And doing our setup, because we always catching me here in the middle of doing my setup. I want to go ahead and mute that. Okay. And let's pull up our comment section. Then we're going to get right into it. So, yes, we are starting a little bit early this evening, which I consider to be a good thing because I got stuff to do. I'm excited. In the midst of some pretty intense painting sessions of late, and I've got a lot that I'm excited to be painting. And so it's a good time right now to be painting in what I consider to be high production mode. Okay, so go ahead and kick back, relax, get your favorite beverage out, and we will get to the painting. Let me share with you guys what I am painting tonight, and it's going to be a good one. I'm really excited about it. So this whole mess of orange that you're seeing in front of you here that I'm trying to make some sense out of without sneezing, is Ninja All-Stars. Okay, so I'm starting with, admittedly, my least favorite clan aesthetic. Oh, gee, whew, I need to just sneeze. There we go. I did it. I sneezed. So I'm starting with my least favorite clans aesthetically. Oh geez. Oh geez. Ooh. There we go again. I don't know. Couldn't maybe come in here. My allergies just started to flare up. So hopefully, yeah. I'll get out of my system, and then I promise once we get to the painting, we'll be good. But yeah. So this is Clan Tora. This is the Fire Clan. Okay, and their sigil, I guess, or their spirit animal is a tiger. So so you can see I'm painting them to look like tigers. Okay, so here's one of the Yajiri. You see I only have a few colors down. Here's a Kaiken. I don't know what they're called. But you can see they're pretty basic paint jobs, and I'm going to keep them pretty basic because I think they look awesome. Just basic. There's not a whole lot you need to do to make these things look cool. Here's their Madokin, which is kind of like their, I guess this is their spellcaster, like their wizard. And then they have a what are these called? Kunoichi, which are like their scouts. So you got that. And then you have Oni, which are their big, their big spirit demon things. So I'll be working on that. Hear my little boy calling. We'll see how they do upstairs. He was still awake when my wife said, "Hey, I got this. Why don't you go ahead and start your show?" She was really cool about that. But we'll see how they do. He's going through a phase where we're trying to get him to put himself to sleep now. But we'll read to him. We'll tell him stories, and we'll sing to him a little bit, and then the rest of it's kind of up to him to put himself to sleep. And we're just kind of trying that out. We'll see how that works. Anyway, so back to Clan Tora here. So the Oni, Madokin, then you've got the Chunin, who's like the leader. And the Chunin is pretty sick. He's like kind of my favorite one of this. And then you get characters too. So you get the special characters like this guy. It's like a Wolverine. And don't worry, not everything is going to end up being just pure orange. That's what we're doing tonight, is we're going to paint in all of those other details to make these guys kind of pop. There's this guy, Byakko, who's awesome. He looks like, he kind of reminds me of Ron Howard's brother. You know, if you know how weird Ron Howard's brother looks, he looks like, that's what this guy looks like. But they're just super cool. Like oh man, these are just, the character on these are brilliant. I love these, I like these miniatures better than I like Super Dungeon Explorer. And they're just, the theme is just so good. It's just so good. And I'm super happy to be painting these right now. Could not wait. So these guys are up first. That's what we're going to be painting tonight. And it's going to be kind of boring painting because we are painting them all in one like giant batch. So so that's what we're doing. And we're just gonna get to it. Okay. So anyways, that's the plan for tonight. And we're going to talk about something interesting. I'm calling it a painting meta. So that's going to be our topic for tonight. Let us know what you're working on. And we're just going to get right to it. So I guess right now, first thing we have to do is we are going to go with, let's break out some of the colors, some of the additional colors that were part of this set. Iraqi, that's wrong. That's medium flesh tone. That's not yellow ochre. I need yellow ochre. Well, I'm going to need this at some point. Golden yellow. This is a good color to use for touch-up. Orange fire. I'm working on some basing lizardmen. Cool. I need Iraqi sand, and I need yellow ochre. Yellow ochre, just one of my, well, both of these colors, Iraqi sand and yellow ochre, are like just big standbys for me. I use them in a lot of things. Basalt gray for the base. Gotta figure out how I'm gonna do the basing too. It's gonna be interesting. I want some beige brown, and I still need my Iraqi sand. Off-white's a good color. Let's have off-white. Now I have Iraqi sand because I buy it all the time. Buff will work. Buff will actually work, won't it? Or buff a little too green. Nah, buff will work. Buff will work. We're using buff. We're using buff. We're making decisions. In fact, I need, might as well break out that basic skin tone so that I can do a little more touch-up on Mr. Ron Howard's brother, a.k.a. Byakko. See, here's the thing, like, I'm going really thin on the layers of his bald head, and it's still a little thin up top. So let me do a quick layer there. And I need another one of my medium-sized brushes to do this. That's not it. Where are my medium-sized brushes? Here's one. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so a little basic skin tone. This is just good times, man. This is the kind of painting that I miss. It's the thing about chibis is I paint so many chibi things just regularly, and really it's only Super Dungeon Explorer up until right now, up until this project. The only chibi stuff I really painted was Super Dungeon Explorer, but I painted it by the hundreds, you know, and it's a double-edged sword because you get so good at it, you just get so comfortable with it that, you know, from a commission standpoint, from a money-making standpoint, it's great because You know, it's just so reliable. You always know what to do. You can move through projects like vast amounts of miniatures in a very, very short period of time. You know, as you guys know, I could put together I could paint a whole box, assemble and paint a whole box of classic Super Dungeon Explorer in 8 nights. Sometimes I did it in 6, which is just absolutely insane as far as the output's concerned. That's something in the order of like 57 models in 6 nights, which is crazy. So you could do stuff like that, and it's great, and you're well within your comfort zone, and you can just crank the models out. That's awesome. Bad part is, oh shoot, totally did that wrong. The bad part is, it's you end up being accustomed to such volume that it burns you out quickly. So like you know, I would paint a full set of Super Dungeon Explorer, and it would just be like, okay, I'm ready to throw up now. I need to paint something like Anima Tactics, or I need to paint a Takawashi miniature, or something like that. So you have to do that too. You have to keep it balanced, or you're just gonna have absolute nightmare trying to stay sane, even when you're painting something that you really love to paint, like Chibi. I love painting Chibi because it's very easy and it's very rewarding. You know, painting a Chibi is like a really basic thing, but when you're done, the result that you get is so clean, and it's got so much character that you're gonna be reasonably happy about it. So on these Oni, I'm gonna do like a bone colored mask here. Okay. So this is gonna be bone. And then I may do like a green glow off the eyes or something like that. We'll see. It's mostly going to be like an overbrush type scenario. But this will be cool. This will look like a, you know, almost like a giant skeleton warrior or something. But an Oni, but a cool samurai skeleton looking thing. So obviously the orange and the black were the two principal colors of this clan, which is a little bit different than how they did it. You know, the studio art is red and black, and I decided to go orange and black to kind of capture more of a tiger theme than what they did. I think it's pretty cool. See, so and then I'm going to end up washing these. The other thing is there's little tiger tails here. So basically anything fur on this clan is going to be, I'm going to base coat in that Iraqi sand, and I'll come back and wash it. But you get where I'm going with this. And I'm also going to, like, all these cords, these like rope pieces, you can do those too. But I'm not going to do, it's not going to be a crazy extensive paint job. It's really only going to be a very select number of colors. So that should be good. Okay. So there's that. Let's do the other one. If you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let's know what you're painting, what you should be painting. coming in with some Clan Tora from Super Ninja All-Stars. Very much looking forward to playing this game. Last week I was complaining about the bad reviews that the game got and in my opinion, the misperception of the game. At this point, I'm just happy. I just want to try it now. I just want to see what this game is all about. Looks very promising from my own understanding of the rules. And obviously, I'm a huge fan of the miniatures themselves. So there's that. In other news, Guild Ball. And that's all I really have to say about that. Guild Ball. Guild Ball is a thing. Guild Ball is a fantastic game. A great little sports game that it keeps drawing me further and further into its clutch. And every single game I've been playing of Guild Ball has just been more and more rewarding. And I'm really, really excited about it. Now, last week, we had a brief announcement at the end of the week that that I'm going to be hosting. Well, Play It Painted, myself and Phil are going to be hosting a Guild Ball tournament at Kingdom Con this year, and this is going to be really the first. It's a couple of firsts. It's the first Guild Ball tournament for Kingdom Con. It's also the first, to my knowledge, it's the first public Guild Ball tournament in Southern California. Their Guild Ball is not carried in any of the stores in Southern California. It really just started here, So you guys are looking at, you can call it ground zero. I call myself patient zero. I'm patient zero for Guild Ball. I'm the original infected person here, and we're going to start to see this thing spread because Guild Ball is a rapidly growing community. Rapidly, like Malifaux Rapid back in the day, back when we were pushing that game, and that game exploded. Similarly, Guild Ball is exploding everywhere right now, mostly in the UK, also in Australia, and then also now in the United States. The scene is much bigger on the East Coast right now, but and I believe there are players there. I'm certainly not the first SoCaler to play Guild Ball, but I may be the first or among the first to start doing public events around Guild Ball. And you want to know the sad thing is I'm still on the fence with the pundit program. I don't know if my personal bandwidth can handle me promoting another game. The thing about Guild Ball is everyone wants to play it, but with this type of game, very few people want to be the promoter for it because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work promoting your favorite miniature games, and in fact, it's a little bit. In some ways, it's a little bit more work if it's a popular or exploding game. I promote stuff for Ninja Division, but Ninja Division, while it has a following, doesn't have a huge explosive following the way this game has. The way Guild Ball seems to have a just rapidly increasing fandom. But that's part of the excitement, though. I mean, that's super cool. I'm really, really jazzed about that. I'm going to paint this guy's hair Iraqi sand, so his skin will actually disappear here for a moment in all this. It'll look like, see that? His all that work on the skin and differentiating it out. It's going to look washed out for a moment, but we'll watch that. We'll watch that come back rapidly here. Okay. So yeah, Guild Ball tournament. The last week of April. This is going to be Saturday, April 30th in San Diego, Crown Plaza Hotel, Kingdom Con. I'll be there Friday night showing off this game, Ninja All-Stars. And then Saturday, I'm running that Guild Ball tournament all day. And it wasn't my first choice, to be honest with you. I was thinking, I'm going to go to Kingdom Con. I'll go for a day. I'm going to show off Ninja All-Stars. I might even do some Relic Knights there. But I'm going to play Guild Ball. So I wanted to go to Kingdom Con originally to play Guild Ball. And, I was talking to Ross about it, and he was like, yeah, we're going to have people lined up to do Guild Ball for us, so you're good to go. And I said, okay, but I know how gamers are, so, let me know if you need me as a backup or something for Guild Ball. So my hope was, the pundit or whoever was supposed to be the Guild Ball guy would have come through. But then they didn't. And so Ross kind of tapped me and said, hey, can we do a Guild Ball tournament at Kingdom Con? And I said, yeah, we can. It's going to be a bit more of a community effort because we're all very new to the game. And we're, we may be tapped for resources, which is normal because the game, every game that you get into has slightly different requirements for terrain and setup and all that. And in this particular game, the requirements are around that pitch and making sure that you can put together a decent number of Guild Ball pitches, time clocks, that sort of stuff, competitive stuff. So I'm excited for it. Again, wasn't my first choice of thing to run, but with the need and my desire to ultimately grow the game, I stepped up and I stepped up and threw Phil under the bus. So now we're both running it. So it's not just me. It's an official Play It Painted event at Kingdom Con. I need more Iraqi sand. All right. More Iraqi sand. Did I get that guy? Yeah, I did. Okay. So, anyways, I'm working towards tonight's topic with my whole narrative here. Believe it or not, my last self plug there for my tournament is somewhat related to tonight's topic. Okay, so anyway, like I said, we were tapped to run. I wonder if this guy should have that white hair. I'll say yes. Let's give one of these guys white hair, and let's give one black hair, or like blue hair or something, so that because this is a league game, you're gonna want to be able to tell your miniatures, your duplicate sculpts apart in some way. So I'm gonna have a white hair guy, and then I'll have more of like a black or a gray haired guy. Okay. So yeah, we got tapped to run the tournament. And and I looked and saw that there was an official open organized play document for Guild Ball. And in the description of my event, I said, we will be following, the official Guild Ball organized play document. Okay. And so recently, since we committed to that, I've been reading that organized play document and trying to get in games at Guild Ball, trying to get myself more familiar with the game because, obviously if you're going to host an event, you better know your game. I've known some internet e-celebs that have hosted events that don't know the game that they're hosting, and they just sort of let somebody else step up and do it, and they claim the fame for doing it. I don't do that. If I'm going to promote a game, or if I'm going to host an event regarding a game, I better know whatever the hell that game is. I better know how to play it. I better know that game at least well enough to teach other people. And yeah, so that's my requirement there. So anyway, as I was going through organized play, I found that the official Guild Ball organized play document calls for fully painted models in officially sanctioned tournaments. And I was like, huh, that is really interesting to me. It's interesting to me because Guild Ball has a very obvious influence from War Machine. And the War Machine meta was always the one to say, oh, well, we don't care about painting. You don't have to paint any of your minis. And with the exception of, a hardcore tournament or something like that, you don't need painted Warmahordes. That's just kind of how that meta has behaved. Right or wrong, I'm not talking about judging it for that. I'm just explaining that's the way it operates, right? So it got me thinking about Guild Ball and, the painting meta around Guild Ball. Okay, so I had some assumptions about Guild Ball because there are a large number of Warmahordes fans playing Guild Ball. I thought that the meta for this game would be similar to that. In other words, that painting would not necessarily be a big thing, if at all, and you wouldn't see, from an official sense, I didn't think you would see anything like that, that you have to paint your miniatures for an official tournament, because I thought they were kind of following that, that more privateer press thing. But here's the deal. As I started to think about that, about, the whole fully painted, not fully painted, it kind of dragged me back through some of the older arguments and discussions over mandatory painted miniatures. And my view, and maybe even Phil's view, may be just slightly different than everybody else's view on it, right? So Phil and I, there's no secret that's why we're called Play It Painted. We like painted miniatures. We encourage painted miniatures. And at least for August, we call for fully painted armies. That said, I wouldn't characterize us as snobs for painting stuff. We don't, it's not one of those things where we just would arbitrarily impose that on other people, with the exception of, official tournaments and officially sanctioned tournaments. And the thing is, you start to think about what a painted meta really looks like. Take your local meta and whatever game you're talking about, and consider what's the attitude of most of the players towards painting. And not only what's the attitude, what's the behavior like? What are they actually painting. Because if we go through this exercise and I say, okay, do you prefer to have painted miniatures on the table? Then I think that maybe 19 out of 20 miniature wargamers are going to say, of course, I would rather have painted miniatures versus unpainted miniatures. It's part of the appeal to the hobby, at least part of the initial appeal to the hobby is, wow, this piece looks really cool. There's a game around it. It looks great painted. I would love to see, and whether or not they do it or not, right? Because a lot of guys are, a lot of people are just gamers, and they don't have the time or priority to paint or hobby, or maybe they tried it and they just didn't enjoy it, and so it's not really part of their experience anymore. Well, even in those cases, those guys would tell you, of course I want to see, in a completely perfect world where nobody had to work for a living, nobody had to get up early in the morning and go to school or pay bills or live life, of course I would want to see all painted miniatures. So we all agree on that. When you tell them, what about painting requirements for tournaments? That's where the subject gets really uncomfortable, and people start getting defensive, and so on. So you got that, and then you got another thing that has kind of been bugging me, in the back of my head, and then as I started to consider the topic for tonight earlier today, I started to kind of dwell on this a little bit more, and that is your perceptions of a player base that doesn't paint. Okay? And I'm going to define that in a minute here. Doesn't paint. Okay? I'm not talking about, for the record, I'm not talking about people that have tried painting and don't like it. I'm not talking about people who may suffer from disabilities and can't paint. I'm not talking about people who have just started in the miniature gaming hobby and aren't ready to review this aspect of the hobby. And I'm not talking about people who are poor college students or whatever and are burdened for time and or money. I'm not talking about any of those things, okay? When I say unpainted, I'm talking about a veteran player, someone who's played miniature war games, played and importantly collected miniature war games for more than a year, and someone who owns a very large collection of models, to kind of demonstrate that, hey, they're not exactly, they're coming up with cash. They may not be rich, but they're coming up with cash for what's important to them, right? Talk to a Magic player. Magic players, I know a lot of poor Magic players, but them dudes be forking out hundreds, thousands of dollars on paper. Sorry, cardboard, whatever they make the cards out of. They can they have no druthers issuing out that kind of cash, but they're not going to spend time or money painting miniatures. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the veteran crowd that you've watched play for at least a year or more, in a lot of the cases that I can recall, decades, and you just have never seen them put down any kind of reasonably painted force. Like they might have painted 2 colors on a captain and 1 on a dreadnought or something. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to start. I'm going to, and they tell you, they're not even telling you these lies. They're telling themselves these lies. Oh yeah, eventually I'm going to paint my whole 15,000 point Blood Angel army. And they're not. And it's like it's a pipe dream. And I get it. we're all miniature gamers for fantasy. We like the the fantasy aspect of stuff, and we all know the reality, right? So that's what I'm talking about. This is the guy that's like, he's gonna spend, and his priority is the gaming aspect of the hobby. So let's not knock him on. That's where he's at. He's a gamer. And so if he's going to spend 20 hours a week in some extreme cases studying army lists and reading tactics and forums and for the whole get good mentality, that dude is going to look at his time and go, well, what kind of time do I have to paint the miniatures? It's not even important to me. I don't care. I just want to win games. So you got that, and that's not a minority in some of these games and some of the metas that revolve around these games, particularly the really competitive games. It's like, it's rad when you see some of those competitive players, and there's a fair bit of these guys that I'm talking about that can paint and play. And a lot of them paint better than me and play better than me. So that, clearly they're awesome. I'm not. So those guys, that's really interesting thing too, is when you see like the top ranked Warmahordes players in the world, a lot of times those guys be painting, and they paint pretty well. And then you see the guy that's in your hobby store that's like, I'm the best general at this game. And it's not that good. So anyway, that's what I mean when I say non-painted. I'm talking about that veteran guy that's like, oh yeah, I don't have time to be painting. I need to figure out how to break a game mechanic, or I'm studying up for the next tournament or whatever. That's what I'm talking about when I say unpainted. So here's what I'm getting at. Uh-oh. Did I lose? Did I just bore people to death? Is that what happened? My video feed is really choppy right now. When you see a meta like that, that's made up of mostly those guys, what do you think? From a gamer / painter / hobbyist perspective, what do you think? Because I'll tell you what I think. I have some bias against it. I form up some stereotypes against that. When I see, if I go into a store, right, and I want to play like Infinity or something like that, or I want to play, I don't know, Warmahordes, right? And I go in that store, and I'm looking around. This is a true story that's happened to me at least 4 or 5 times, especially with Warmachine. Like, I want to play Warmachine, whatever. I get to the store, I bring my army, it's in my case. And I look at those tables, and you go ahead, feel free to judge. Call me a dick, whatever, paint snob. I don't care. And I look at those tables, and there's 8 guys there, right? 8, 10 guys. And I'm like, wow, there's 8 to 10 guys here, and they're playing 50, 75-point Warmahordes models. We're talking models that are into the dozens of models, 50, 60 models per squad. Per army. And I'm looking there and I'm like, man, I can only count like 4 models that were painted out of all 10 of these guys. Only 4 of the models were painted. There's, if you count partially painted, like started models, you might get to 6 total models. There might be 6 total models. And when I see stuff like that, I don't bother getting my stuff out of the case. I won't lie. It sits there. I look at the stuff around, I look at the guys around me, and I watch their games, and I'm like, okay, here comes an argument in 3, 2, 1, rules argument. Here comes, then you got the other guys that are talking. They have loud indoor voices, and they're talking about, oh, you should take this and this list, and this is how this goes, and you have to play this. Everybody knows this is what you do, and this is the optimum setup. When I hear stuff like that, that's just not my thing. It's just not my thing. It just does not appeal to me with gaming. And so I leave my minis in the case because I'm like, I don't need to do this. I'm not going to jump into that world. That's not the meta I want to get into for a number of reasons. A lot of times we call out the competitive aspect, and it's true. I think that the unpainted meta is symptomatic of a highly competitive meta where they need to be able to experiment with lists, and so they need their models in a more liquid state. They need to be able to sell them quickly to other people at a tremendous loss versus retail. And then they need to be able to buy those models from other people. So they're basically people cycling through units and armies and stuff in an attempt to find what's the newest, latest broken thing that they can find. And so those people they not only don't like painting, they won't pay for painted miniatures. They disdain painted miniatures because it screws up the program. Those models aren't liquid anymore. Oh, they don't match my army. Well, what color is your army? Oh, it's unprimed, metal. That's my army theme, is unprimed metal. So it is to me, it's symptomatic of that type of meta. And if you are part of that meta and you like playing that way and you're a gamer to the death and you don't give a 0 Fs about who paints and that kind of thing, more power to you, dude. Go enjoy that. That's awesome. I'm glad you have a hobby. That's great. It's not for me. Okay? It's not for me for the same reason that me trying to tell you to paint is not for you. I'm not trying to tell anybody how to paint. I'm not. I'm encouraging people, if they want to paint, or if they want to try painting, or if they want to paint better, yeah, get out there and paint. I'm not saying, hey, you guy who never paints and has no interest in painting, go out and paint. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just trying to encourage the people that are kind of on the fence, or or trying to look for time to which they can paint. Just trying to send those people some words of encouragement. But anyway, that's a painting meta is what I'm talking about. Groups of players that decide either collectively, subconsciously, whatever, that they're not going to paint their minis. They have more important stuff to do. And so my question tonight revolves around that. How do you feel about that? How important is hobby and aesthetic to you for your miniature gaming experience? And is it bad for you to rate that very high? Like myself. I don't mind playing against people that don't paint their stuff. I don't mind that. There's a part of me that goes, ooh, I wish they were painted. But it's not like I pick up my models and leave on that fact alone. I don't mind it. What is alarming to me is when I see an entire group of people playing a game that say, you know what? It's just not that important to me. Because that's a sign that I'm not going to fit in with that community, with that particular meta. And so I need to be aware of that. I should probably still game with them, give it a chance, and verify that I'm going to enjoy or not enjoy my, a regular gaming experience with this type of meta. But more often than not, it just ends up with me not, coming back and saying, no, I don't enjoy it. And again, feel free to judge me, but here's where I'm coming from. I paint my own stuff. I put my own stuff on the table. And yeah, we like to say only your stuff is important. If you want to paint, it's important to you to feel painted stuff, then it's important to you. That's your thing. It gets frustrating after a while, especially with guys that play all the time. They play more than you do. They have more hobby time than you do. You have a full-time career, you have a young son and a wife, and you still every once in a while, you still get out and do some social stuff. These guys don't have a lot of that stuff. And then they come back and tell you, "Oh, I don't have time to paint." And I see what they're saying. They just don't have the priority for it. That's acceptable. My issue becomes, as if I was the only guy, say I was the only, I joined that group of 10 war gamers, right? And we're going to play whatever game XYZ, and none of them paint their stuff. It's just not going to be it's not going to be a very satisfying gaming experience for me. I feel like, I feel like we're squandering the aesthetic. One of the biggest aesthetic advantages to miniature gaming over standard board gaming is these really cool, highly customizable, paintable sculpts that are actually really beautiful sculpts. So it will just, after a while, it just breaks my heart. And I'm like sitting there playing like, okay, I'm going to play again on this night. Here we go again. And I'm just looking down at that table going, this may not be a good use of my time. Maybe if, especially if they're hyper competitive and I'm not, which is often the case, that's part of the reason why they probably didn't paint or care to paint their miniatures, is because, like I was saying, they're spending their time on competitive aspects of the hobby. Not to be knocked, but they're just doing different things. Okay? So I have to realize that. And that does mean that I have a painting bias. As much as I'd love to sit here and tell you, no, I'm totally fine with it. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm okay with it to a point. But if that's my week out, and I'm spending, several nights a week painting and enjoying it on my own, it is a little dissatisfying over time to go, wow, does that mean pretty much all my opponents from here on out in this game are not going to paint their stuff? If you did 40K circa 2004, 2005, that was hella true. And I used to play public pickup games with people playing 40K. I played dozens of pickup games. I played more strangers in 40K than I have in all of the other games. Well, no, that's not true anymore, but I played a lot of just strangers. Okay? And the more you do that, you just start to see diminishing returns on your hobby. And you're like, man, I just wish that these looked cool enough for me to be able to take a picture with both our armies on there. I wish that we could be looking down at this crazy cool cinematic thing because everybody's miniatures are painted. And so if I would just take a picture of it, you wouldn't be sure if it were from the outside. If you have never played any of these games, you wouldn't be sure if I was just sending you a picture like a diorama or something, or a model used in special effects in a movie, or if I was playing a game with the miniatures. Like, that's a big deal for me to enjoy. I really enjoy that part of miniature hobby. So it makes me sad. It makes me sad. It means, sadly, I don't have a strong compatibility with, that gaming group, and I may be better off finding or setting up my own gaming group to that purpose. All right. How are we doing? No comments. Real laid back show stuff so far. Yeah. Okay. So if you're watching this live or you're watching it recorded, put a note in the comments. How do you feel about those situations? Are you going to game with that group? Are you okay totally gaming with that group, knowing that you may be the only person to paint your miniatures ever and be okay like that? Or are you going to be a little bit more like me and say, well, while I'm sure they're good guys, it seems like they have different priorities for their gaming. And I need a little, at least some indulgence of the aesthetic. So I can't do this long term. I'll get in a game with them, and then we'll just kind of be on our merry way. And hopefully I can find a gaming group of which at least, 2 or 3 other people will paint stuff, so I can get some cool painted battles, and then just understand the rest of the guys aren't going to do painted battles themselves. I'm going to paint this kind of a gold, yellow ochre, I should say. I really like how this orange turned out on these miniatures. Orange is becoming a very, very comfortable color with me. I painted my alchemists that orange color. So they were orange and kind of like a minty blue. I thought that was cool. All right, let's see. I'm still here working on stuff, listening to you. I enjoy more of my own building and painting. I don't play many miniature games. If I do play games, ... Yeah. I think it's safe to say that in a completely ideal situation, if it was fully accessible and quote unquote easy for people to paint all their miniatures, of course they would do it. But it's like exercise, right? Like if exercise were easy and everybody could just get, shredded or swole or ripped or whatever you want to say, if everybody could do that, then there really wouldn't be much of a discussion. It would that would just be the norm, but it's not. It's not the norm in for exercise, and it's not the norm for painting. It would be like, let's say, if painting were exercise, and you were going to join a group of cyclists, but the cyclists are like, we just want to ride around on the bike, and it's more important for us to, visit the sites while we're biking, and we need to visit 34 sites in 3 days. Then you, as more of an exercise buff, and they don't care. By the way, they don't care whatever, how they're biking, or anything like that. They just need to get to these things. I think you're gonna be better off finding a different group to cycle with that shares the same kind of goals you do. That's all it really comes down to. It's not really snobbery as far as I'm concerned, but you guys tell me if you think I'm being a snob. I think it's more about, my goal of, I want to have a fun, challenging, and aesthetically pleasing game when I play miniature. When I go out for my one night a week, sometimes when I'm lucky, I got 2 nights or a night and a day. But my one opportunity to game a week, I want to game. I don't want to game with somebody who's gonna, who doesn't give me that aesthetic pleasure, or I should say, a group. Like I said, if it was a group of 10 people and 3 of them didn't field painted, I'd be totally cool with it. If they all don't field painted, that would bug me. So I don't care if they aren't painted. If I purchase a new game piece and build it on that date, I think there shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, Tori, I'm not really talking about that. Yeah, I totally get it. You built a piece that day. You want to field it. You want to try it out. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the guys that this is their quote unquote state of normal is not to bother painting it, put it on the table, and just do that with the next piece and the next piece and the next piece, because the focus is on let's get it on the table. And I need to stomp your face in with this, and so I ordered 6, and I got 3 on eBay, and I'm gonna spam it in my list, and you're gonna deal with my unpainted crap. That's what I'm talking about. So, yeah, I don't know. You guys tell me. Maybe I'm being a dick here. Maybe I'm being a paint snob. But I think it's just about, lining up your preferences with your gaming group. Because if you can line up your preferences with your gaming group, then people understand. They all have the same expectations of what the game should be like, how the army should look, that kind of thing. And then you could just really enjoy your time gaming, because it's hitting all those. I like to say that certain games have to hit specific cylinders. They have to push specific buttons for you in order for you to really enjoy them. So, Tori says, I haven't experienced those type of people yet. That's good. That means that you have, for the most part, been able to stay away from. I hate to say it's good, but it's good for you. It's good for you because I don't see you as a hyper competitive gamer type. I see you as, you really do love the hobby. You love painting. You love the aesthetics of the minis. You want to play, but you also want to have those other experiences too. So I don't see you as being a hyper competitive gamer guy. So it's probably good that you haven't run into that meta. I run into it many times. But part of that too was back when I used to run into it a lot. I was a competitive player, so you tend to end up, kind of sticking in with the group that shares a lot of your common interests and your own common sort of motivations for gaming. Whew, there's a lot of painting going on here. Should I? No, I guess I shouldn't do. Okay, I'm gonna leave that. It's cool. We're going really simple, guys. So whatever. Anything gold on this guy? No, there isn't. He's cool. So those Yajiri are out. It's pretty much anybody with a sword. So these guys, they have 2 swords. Oops. Oh man, I didn't even paint the rest of this guy's beard and stuff. That's terrible. Let's do that. I guess I'm the only one here. Yeah, you are the only one here. I don't know where our regular viewership is. Maybe they don't want to watch me paint Ninja All-Stars. I don't know. Which is fine, because I want to paint Ninja All-Stars. You kidding me? These are awesome, and I am really digging this. You know, when you're getting really like these kinds of results, and they're just really cool in their simplicity. That's rad. I like. Okay, there. That guy's got the whole. They could be playing Guild Ball. That's true. I guess some of the guys in OC here that we started showing Guild Ball to started taking it on autopilot. Some of them that I showed Wrath of Kings to are now playing Wrath of Kings, which is awesome. I'm glad they are. I want to play some Wrath of Kings too. Absolute perfect evening for gaming for me would be, in this order, a game of Guild Ball, which would take 90 minutes, a couple hours. Then a game of Relic Knights, take about 35, 45 minutes. Then a game of Wrath of Kings, take about an hour. And then a multiplayer game of this game, Ninja All-Stars. I think it's feasible. I think we should try it. If I had a focused group, if I had a group of guys that were focused on let's get this done in 4 hours, we could do it. 4 games done in 4 hours. We could do it. I think it would be awesome. Anyway, how many times did I say awesome? A lot. Let's get to... Where's that other dude? There he is. Yeah. So yeah, this guy's going to end up with like gray hair. So I'll have like white beard and silver beard, basically. I could make him blonde beard. And you can have... Oh, see what I did? I didn't even do the fangs on this guy's. Blonde beard got issues already. I did not take care of blonde beard that well. So cool. So cool. Also, just to recap us, I played a game called Wild in the Streets. Last week. Got to demo it from Chris, the guy over at Slow Death Games. So he's going to be launching this game, probably crowdfunding it very soon here. And it's a really cool concept. It's kind of a miniature game for modern folks who don't know anything about miniature games. It's supposed to be a nice crossover. Here's an introduction to miniature games and how they're typically played. I just think it's a really cool concept. And the fact that you can play modern games, you know, you can play goths, you can play death rockers, suicide girls, murder cult girls, and then my factions that I'll be playing cosplay. I'm going to be playing cosplay girls and gamers, and those are the factions. That's awesome. So you might have remembered from a few months ago, I painted a set for Wild in the Streets. Painted some of that on this feed. I finally got to play it. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great little game. For a miniature gamer, though, probably not the deepest game. You know, it's like a very, very light Osprey game. That's what I told him too. I'm like, this is a feels like a very, very light Osprey game. But don't take that as a knock. I think that's a good thing, given who your target audience is. I'm gonna need some more hair colors here. So some of these folks will have white hair. Maybe some of them will have brown hair. Okay. Now let's do. I love this Chunin. He's so cool. Man, he's so cool. Can't wait to do. I'm probably going to do the Air clan next. Clan Tancho. Like the peacock is their symbol. And I want to do them in like a. I'm going to do them in like a very, very light blue, like a glacial blue. Similar to my Masons for Guild Ball. We're just going to keep it moving, man. I just love that there's not much to paint for these, and they just look awesome. Some of the most fast, fun paint jobs I've done in a long time. It always comes from Soda Pop too. Like Relic Knights, you can crank that stuff. And I love painting it. My absolute favorite stuff to paint, though, Anima Tactics, miniatures, and Takahashi University. Love those minis. So good. So good. We're rocking, dude. We are rocking. We are just going to keep cranking on these. Then we'll just do a crazy, crazy power wash on them. On the Samurai, I need to do a special armor wash, which I shall do very shortly here. Need to finish these gold hilts. Here's an interesting thing I thought I would point out. Looking at these and comparing them to the generic Shrine Ninjas. Do one more. Is that all the gold? All the gold, all the gold? Nope. Some gold here. Yeah. They have some brown and stuff to do. I'm wondering if this guy's hair should be blonde. He's kind of rad. I think actually his hair won't be blonde. It's going to be like fire, like yellow highlighted up to orange. Like it's like his hair is actual fire. All right. I think that's all the hilts of things, all the gold hilts. So we're going to let that dry for a second. Let me show you this cool thing real quick. All right. So for Guild Ball, for Ninja All-Stars, you have your clan box, and then you have the generic Shrine Ninjas. Okay, so here's a generic Tancho, and it's red, like they had intended this to be the Fire Shrine, so that you can play it as the Fire Shrine if you're not painting. These pieces are for standard board gamers, like board gamers that aren't ever going to paint anything, that need the piece to be representative of what they feel, and it needs to be the right color so that they know what faction is what. This is a board game quality piece. You'll notice it's all molded in one piece, including the base. And it's still not a bad sculpt. Like, I could have fun painting those. Those would be fun. And in fact, you know, one of the best suggestions for these, for your regular gamers, is, hey, you know, take these and put them in your Clan Torah, so that you can have alt sculpts and stuff, so that you can have more unique looking miniatures as part of your clan. I think that was a pretty cool idea. But the interesting part is, so those are one piece. These are two piece. So here's a Kaikin from Torah. Two piece. The bases are more sophisticated, and the sculpts are better. Pretty cool. All right. Anyway, what was I gonna do? What was I gonna do? Oh, I've got to do a special. Oh, I've got to do a special armor wash on this, and I may do it on his armor too, because this guy is armored. He doesn't really have cloth per se. So we're gonna make another umber ink wash. I think we're gonna just use straight brown. Not sepia. Sepia may work. Sepia may be kind of deep. Let's see. But you know how we do. We're gonna do. Where'd it go? I don't know. We were. No. Where is it? There he is. There's my buddy. Glaze medium. So go like dozen drops of glaze medium. This may be too. Should I do red now? Let's see. I'm gonna do like let's do 1 drop of sepia ink and see what it gets us. So 1 drop of ink in there. Actually 1.5, because I spilled a little bit. And let's do 1, 2, 3, 4 drops of water. Let's mix it up. So this is a typical kind of glaze I would use on gold when I'm doing non-metallic gold. But I also think it might work on this orange armor. It's a little bit of an umber tone to it. So what I do when I'm testing, take an inconspicuous part of the model, put it down, see what you come back with. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. It looks like it kept the integrity of the orange. It did not desaturate the orange. So I'm going to go with it. Okay. So, and so all it's doing is giving me shadow. Now over this Iraqi sand, it's going to give me a little bit more depth, which is great because that's what I am looking for. But you can see, yeah, it did darken it a little bit, but remember, this is armor, this isn't cloth, so you don't want it to be super sun-kissed orange. You want it to have shadow to it. I think it looks awesome. I'm going to do this one, and I'll show you what it looks like compared to the other one that that I haven't washed yet. If you're from the East Coast, you may use the word washed. Maybe you haven't. It hasn't been washed yet. And you can apply this pretty liberally because it's just not going to tint. It's not going to build. It's going to fall right into those crevices. Now watch the difference when I do it on the face here. I really want the face to look like more like it was carved out of ivory or bone. And then when you do this yellow ochre, this is where it gets critical to move it. You know, you like to move it. That was a joke, by the way. There you go, some shadow coming in. Okay, I got that crap song stuck in my head now. My fault for doing that stupid joke. Totally my fault. But man, how cool is this thing coming out? And I can come back and give it a highlight if I want. I don't know that I have to. That's kind of the key. I don't know if I have to. It just looks awesome right now. And I'm not, you know, it looks awesome and I'm not putting a crazy amount of effort into this right now. I'm going to need a lot more glaze medium if this is going to be a regular thing, because it's working well. Wow, I still have that stupid song stuck in my head. My fault. If you're watching this and you have that stupid song stuck in your head, I like to move it. Yeah, you can punch me in the face. Like, punch me in the face. Or just leave like a nasty message in the comments. Like, I can't believe you put that stupid song in my head, Octave. All right. He likes to move it. Nice comment. All right. So that was a lot of glaze, but let me show you what we're dealing with here. Well, let's start over. This is the unglazed, real flat looking. And here's the glazed. So once this glaze dries, I'll do another highlight on the face, and I'll do a little glow effect in the eyes. But I think it looks cool. I don't know. What do you think? I think it looks way cooler with this. Just that little bit of depth. It's giving. This takes a long time to dry, so I'm going to put him off, way off to the side. And we're going to make that glaze medium over for the other dude. And we're going to also make it for all the gold and the fur parts of these other models. Doesn't seem like I'm doing a whole lot, does it? Because I'm just hitting like details here and there. Nothing big. God, that song is just going to be stuck in my head the whole rest of the night. It's going to be so bad. Be talking about stuff, and there it goes. It's just going right back into your head again. Burp, 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 and I just want to like punch someone in the face. Is it okay that that person's me? The person I want to punch in the face is me for starting that whole, like, bringing that into this once mundane discussion about painting things. Yes, I will blame myself for that. It's weird. It's like one of my some of my favorite paint schemes of late have all been orange. And I like orange. I think orange is a cool color. I like yellow better, but painting orange is pretty awesome, actually. It's a pretty rewarding color because you get the same kind of saturation that you might get from yellow, but fewer drawbacks to it than what yellow typically suffers from. Yellow, you're just trying to get the thing to cover, and that's super hard. Okay. I don't think I'm going to use this glaze for the fur on the other models. I think I'm just going to use sepia, start from sepia for that. I'm really liking this. I mean, how easy is that? Once you get the orange, the right hue, you just knock this out. And it's shaded, and it's awesome, and it's ready to go. You know, like I said, you could wait and come back and hit it with a bunch of highlights. You can, and the highlights will only make it look better. But you can also not. You can choose not to do it and go, okay, well, it looks great. I'm going to leave that like there. I think for basic tabletop, it's going to look fine. So now let's go ahead and do the little sword tops, all that stuff. I could very well just use the sepia. At this scale, no one's even really going to notice the difference. There it goes again. All right, where's the other one? Then we gotta start painting in the other hair colors. We gotta paint the basing too. Gotta paint all the basing on all these minis. There's Mr. Chunin. So for Mr. Chunin, I'm going to do a little bit more than just the standard sword hilt. I'm going to do some of this armor here. And armor here. Just gives him a little bit of depth. Because he's like, this guy is wearing like orange plate. So the loincloth down there, I don't need to hit because that's cloth. But this is armor. This should show. It should be a little shinier than the rest of him. Yeah. And let's do all the kaikin. Oops. Probably hit that rope on the other one. The other guy there. That little rope across his chest. Hit that with a little bit of my glaze wash. Chibi ninjas. How cool is that? I'm excited. I'm excited to try this. Like putting these miniatures down to play in of itself, kind of the win. I have just a giant blind spot right there. Why do I keep missing that one? Should paint tiny little veins in this guy's forehead. I think it would be funny. All right. And then for the white tiger here, put some there. And then reverse for there. So yeah, painting meta. I don't think anyone calls it that. But it's almost like your default. How do people in this particular gaming group feel about painting their stuff? That's all it really is. One of the things I did at one point, I had a good group of gamers. It was only like 2 or 3 gamers, and they weren't really miniature gamers, but they loved the aesthetic and they wanted to learn more. But they didn't have the time. They couldn't. They just couldn't do it with any kind of regularity. So what I did was, and we were playing a skirmish game. We were playing a little Malifaux. So what I did was, I just ended up painting some of their stuff for free because it was like, I need to have an aesthetic aspect of the game. It's my need, not yours. And so I like playing with them. And so for me, it was a worthwhile thing to paint their miniatures for free for them because it was worth my time. It was worth my effort. For me to paint their miniatures means I can always take pictures of our games together, and I can enjoy them better, frankly, if I do that. So, okay, so we got a lot of like ink wash stuff drying. Let's get to some white. So we're going to go with some off-white. Now we're going to start to highlight the hair on those two that have the really light hair. So I'm going to mix in some glaze medium with some white. And this isn't going to be terribly thin, but it's going to be thin enough so that I don't leave hard streaks or hard lines in the hair. Frankly, I should have done his too that way, but I'll work out some things because he's a cool mini. He's like a Wolverine type. Rawr. Starting to sound like my kid. My kid does that sound. Rawr. All right. Okay. And then I'll start painting the bases in. All right, so here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to take this dude right here. And I'm going to take this white glaze. I'm just going to draw it out and make sure that most of it is this white color. Right there on the mustache, beard. And then highlight here. Kind of pull everything back. Be excited when I finally get 2 of these clans done. Then we can actually try the game. And then the next goal would be to get 4 done so we can try a 4-player game. Maybe even play like a league. Okay. So that's this dude. So same with her. You just pick the highest points that you're gonna highlight and apply it there more like you would a paint. Just bring it in tight, meaning you want to have some of that Iraqi sand showing, but there's going to be spots where you want very little of it showing. You really only want anything that's still in crevices to show up. So there we go. Ninja All-Stars. Cool. Yeah, these already look good. Pretty happy about it. And like I said, this is my least favorite clan. This one, or aesthetically, it's either this one or the Void clan. Forget their name. Basically, the purple guys. Purple guys are like they're like a demon type faction, it looks like. And aesthetically, they just don't cut it for me, so. All right, so we're gonna paint. So each of these little masks have their own like little fangs on them. So I'm gonna paint in the fang, like tiger fangs. Right, and I'm gonna highlight a little fur. Okay. What about you? You have a couple things right there. Any questions for me on Ninja All-Stars, Relic Knights, Guild Ball, Wrath of Kings? Stuff I usually play. Let me know. Let me know if you have any comments, and be more than happy to try to assist you. Yeah, this Chunin is going to be awesome. It's a really cool looking Chunin. There it is. Not much to do on that guy with this color. I need to see more Guild Ball content on YouTube. Actually, more Guild Ball content, and I really do want to do more live streaming of games that I'm playing. I need to get a third camera, but I can make do for the time being. Not like I'm exactly touting my channel's production qualities. The only thing I can guarantee about my channel is that you will watch a lot of things getting painted. Or you could see a lot of painted things. that are not Space Marines or orcs or whatever. Like different things. Like if you just got into game X and not a lot of people play it in your area, you might be able to find it on my channel, which is cool. Okay. Boop. Second one. Let's do this one. Am I getting these fangs in right? Just about time to break off and start finishing sets of these guys. All right, there we go. Oh, totally forgot. I'm going to try to do this guy's hair using the glaze. Yeah, it just looks like I painted the streams directly on. There we go. Such a quiet evening. Very quiet. Not necessarily a bad thing. Peaceful. I feel peaceful painting my little ninja guys here. It really does, like for me, it really does kind of feel homey to be painting this kind of stuff. That sounds terrible. Feel free to groan. Look at my YouTube side is all jacked up. Okay. So then we're gonna highlight different parts of the monkey. Make sure we got a good blend on stuff. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's pretty fun. Did I go too sharp with the hair? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Look at that. Pretty cool. Okay. There you go. Whoa. We just decided to do a little break dance in there. All right. So while we're waiting on that, let's go ahead and start the painting of the actual bases. All right, so I'm going to paint. I'm going to paint everything this basalt gray out of the gate. And we're going to let that dry. Actually, before I even do that, I'm going to use this basalt gray for some other stuff too. So let's show you what I'm going to do it. So this guy, he could use a little bit of it as a highlight. So I'm just going to hit the edges of his hair. So much character in his face. This guy's just awesome. I need to paint in his, his wraps on his arm, his forearms. Are those called wraps? I don't know what they're called. I just call them bandages, even though I don't think those are bandages. It's just gauze to like reinforce that arm a little bit. I think it's all right. I don't even need to. Yeah. Anyway, so there's that, and then we're gonna paint the entire brick part of the base. Guess I might as well do the whole thing because I got to go in and paint the planks, but it's whatever. Okay, there we go. And now let's paint the big guys. Seeing how that's going to take a while for it to dry. Paint this in. And then we can do like a fresh cut cedar or something as the wooden planks. See if I can do this without absolutely murdering this still wet model. You can feel that tackiness. So you have to grip the model in a specific way to get it to work. Oh, shoot. Sometimes you just... Sometimes your brush decides it's going to screw something up. And then it teaches you how to do it and you screw it up. There we go. Let that dry. Those big Oni things are almost done. Could use some more like yellow ochre and stuff to kind of give it back some of its brightness, but it's really not that big a deal. The scenic bases are pretty cool. In this particular case, though, I feel that the sculpts are so good and the production quality of the game is so good that they didn't really have to do scenic bases the way they did for SDE. I do like the base, though. There we go with that one. Let's just move down the line. So, one other announcement. If you are in the San Diego area this weekend, particularly Saturday afternoon, like 2 p.m., head on to Addie's Games in San Diego. I forget the exact address, but it's off Miramar Road. And our own David J. Blood is going to be hosting a Guild Ball Day, which is kind of demos, open play. Get out, meet the community, get some games in. That's kind of the idea there. So that's really cool. So if you have no plans for Saturday, strongly recommend that you do that. Then you can actually see Guild Ball in action. You can learn about the game, and you can get ready for the big timey tournament in Kingdom Con. Or if you're in the LA area and you're not doing anything on Valentine's Day, stop by OrcCon Sunday 9 a.m. Starting 9 a.m. Come visit me, and I'll teach you how to play Guild Ball. So between David, myself, right now we're trying to show a bunch of people Guild Ball. Orange County also have Leon. He could also show you how to do Guild Ball. So now we have some options. I totally forgot. I want to paint this guy's beard this gray color so that I can highlight it to a light gray, or almost a white. So let's just paint in his beard. No, that's like a silver bearded dude. Pretty awesome. Oh, wow, he looks really cool with gray hair. Like a silver hair. That's pretty freaking awesome. So many common colors with this particular clan. Look at if they're all kind of like that. They're all pretty similar. And I'm probably going to end up painting them that way anyway. Real limited color palettes. Real simple. Just kind of let the cool art express the mini in the proper way. And our job is really just to give some color to it. There's that. All right, so let's I guess we should give her like brown hair. But first, let's do all the basing. I'm this tempted to just leave the gray basing as gray basing. Hit it with a wash and we'll let it dry, hit it with a wash and call it a day. But what I will most likely end up doing is I'll paint in the wooden planks, then hit it with a wash and call it a day. They might get a light dry brush, but I don't want to do too much on these bases. They look fine, just the simplest paint job. We'll just take care of these. And it's much cleaner than trying to flock or sand your bases. Or in my case, I use cork. It's still cleaner than that. All right. Getting there. Okay. And now it's really just inventory at this point. Right? Super boring, I know, guys. But who was that said, I want to see more of your line painting? I don't know why. Super boring. It's okay, though. You get to see how boring I am with the bases. I'm just getting those to look reasonably good. Because I don't want to sit here and I don't want to shade the little pebbles and all that stuff. I just want to have a good looking base and be happy. And these guys do look like tigers, which is awesome. Once I'm done putting these down, putting this gray down, take a quick breather, and I'll sip of my drink, and then give these a few minutes to dry while I decide. A couple of hair colors, and that's about it. Hair color and painting in that wood, and then washing the whole base. And then done is done, man. You're done. Done is done. What I may do is I may still do the black ring around the edge on these, which is different than what I do for Super Dungeon Explorer. But I want that position notch to show a little bit better. Make these miniatures a little more functional. think air is next for me. Clan Tancho. Probably start priming those tomorrow. And then see what kind of time I get during the weekend to get more of that painting in. All right, let's let this stuff dry for a bit. Whew. What I'm gonna need to do. Super blonde hair on this guy. Let's see if I can get that done. All right, so I'm going to start with golden yellow as the base. So this is a really, really light yellow. And with fire, if you're doing realistic fire, you might know that the lightest part of the fire, aka the yellow, is in the deepest parts of the fire because that's where the fire's hottest. The orange parts of the fire, where the fire is coolest. So that's how we're going to highlight this model from the inside out. I may do this other Kunoichi, using this fire hair. We'll see. Okay, so it's going to be a little interesting while the gray is still drying on the base. I have to hold this ever so. I don't know. I think she'll have brown hair. Or actually, she may just have more standard blonde hair. There you have it. First color. First part of this whole attempt at fire hair. Okay, so it's going to go like that. We're going to let him dry. We're going to do this. Oof. I'm going to do some yellow ochre on this lady here. This whole blonde hair, green eye thing. Apparently that's my type. My wife has blonde hair, green eyes. And most of the lady friends I've had over the years And I'm talking, when I say most, I'm like 80%. 80% of them, blonde hair, green eyes. So definitely have a type. The green eyes you can blame on Big Trouble in Little China. I think that movie imprinted on me because David Lopan is an awesome villain. One of my favorite villains of all time, David Lopan. Hans Gruber, Darth Vader. There's a few more in there. Bad guys that I really, really liked. Still a little sad about the whole Hans Gruber thing. A.K.A. Alan Rickman. I know most of the younger fans were thinking, Snape from Harry Potter, but I was for sure I was a Hans Gruber fanboy. So, ugh. A little too much water. Oh, no. Yeah. Making mistakes now because it's late and I'm going fast. I really should just call it a night for now. I don't know. So close, though. They're so close to being done. Almost every one of them is done or just about done. Just need. I'm actually running out of dry time, is the issue on all the bases and stuff. But they look awesome. Yeah, they're looking great. I think they look fantastic. Oh, careful. The Oni are just about done. Just waiting on the paint to dry on the base. So, anyway, we'll let things dry for a little bit. If you guys have any comments or anything, let me know in the comments. If you have any comments, let me know in the comments. I can continue to do some highlighting now. So, I haven't given up just yet. Still a few things I can do. Notably with these beards and stuff. Also, I can put another layer down of this off-white. Just so the model looks a little more cartoony. Cartoony for sure is the way to go on these. Like go bold with the highlights, go exaggerated. They can even look cell shaded. It all looks pretty good. The only thing you really want to avoid is heavy textures. So dry brushing is not a great idea with these chibi miniatures. Sometimes you have to do it, but they're usually not sculpted with that kind of coarse texturing that could really take advantage of a proper dry brush technique. Okay. So there's that. Let's keep going. I comment just to comment. Comment challenge to comment. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a quiet night. It's just been us, me and Rory. Sorry, Tori, hanging out here. That's okay too, though. Look at that crazy hair this guy's got. That is some crazy, crazy mop. He's rocking. I'm gonna actually paint some black stripes in there because that's how the art is. He's got some of his fancy hairdo are black stripes. So put him away. All right. So that's cool. Let's highlight some of this gray on this model with the gray. All right. So let's do it. So you see the highlighting coming in. It's going to be fairly subtle. With the gray, this suddenly looks really Halloween-y. Halloweenish or Halloweeny? Which one is it? Oh, look at that. This guy's missing some shading here on his hilt. There we go. Oh, that side too. When will order? You mean when will it be on retail shelves? It's supposed to be a week after next. It's supposed to be up for retail shelf. So you could try it, with my copy and then decide if you want to buy it. I personally think the miniatures alone will get that. Will get people excited enough. But playing it and seeing that you like it, I think is a big deal too. So highly encourage you to at the very least, if you're not going to play it, watch some YouTube videos on it. Obviously, I'm not going to do any videos on it until I have at least 2 factions painted, so I can do gameplay and that kind of stuff. From the miniature quality side, totally fun. Totally fun to paint these, collect these. And I have some crazy, crazy cool Ronin. I went in for the entire thing, so and I'm very, very happy I did. Chibi stuff is awesome. That's all you really need to know. There's that. One more. Okay, so there's that. Looking good so far. Let's get like a, there we go. This is a kind of yellow I need. I want to try to paint chibi. Yeah. Yes. You do want to try to paint chibi. They're super easy. They're super easy. They look fun. They're super rewarding. You can paint them pretty quickly. You can see I'm not doing like tons of layers on stuff. Once I do the airbrushing and the initial blocking of colors, not much to do, you know? Let's see if this looks weird or not. It probably will look weird. Hopefully cool weird, though. That's what I'm hoping for. Not a bad weird. His hair, because his hair looks fiery. It's like anime fiery. So what if I painted it to actually just look like fire? It's gonna look weird. Let's find out. All right, so there's that. And let's go with the final color all the way back here up to our orange fire color. All right. And we're gonna, this is gonna be just a really, really light highlight. Just like an edge highlight on the hair. Oh, that's nice. It does look weird. His hair does look like it's on fire. It's kind of hilarious. Okay, this is kind of cool. I'm gonna keep, whoa. I'm gonna highlight this a little bit more. Yeah, this does look pretty cool. It does actually look like fire. I can't actually get it to lay down a solid coat of orange. That's probably a good thing. It's probably working in my benefit, in my favor a little bit. The fact that I can't seem to get a fuller coat of orange down. Looks awesome. Okay, I like that a lot. I think that's cool. All right, that turned out all right. And guess what? Hey, look, most of this base stuff is starting to dry, so maybe we can finish these tonight. Let's try. Let's give these bases a dry brush using this lighter gray. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Trusty dry brush. Clean your dry brush. that was the end of that drink. Is that? Oh, kind of need that just to do this. Little claws that they've got. Ooh, not too thick. It's all right. It's okay. There you go. Good. Ready? Let's do it. The glaze on this stuff, on the armor, still very wet. So let me give this just a bit of a dry brush. Not just. Just a set. Huh. So, getting in a little bit of the concrete. I guess that's concrete or cobblestone or whatever. It's part of the basing. Then you've got these like wood planks that you want to paint, or that I will want to paint. This one here, a little more cobblestone stuff. See, it's a real, just coarse dry brush here. This one's done. Like, I don't have to come back and do anything to that, really. I think that's just how I'm going to do these bases. Nice and simple. I like that. And the Chunin, it's just rock. So that's not to do that. But Byakko, he has a lot of wood on his. They're really good little plastic bases. The little scenic elements already done in them. Kind of like that. So, yeah. I mean, we're going to make it to a certain point tonight where these are playable. Pretty excited about that. Can I get the other claws on these guys? Here we go. What if before I do the next? Nah, I'm totally gonna go for it. Yeah, I'm doing the Air Clan next. Pretty much decided tonight on the show. That's what I'm doing next. All right. The other thing I'm going to do while I got the paint out, let's give this dude his black stripes. So I'm going to do this. Like that. That's cool. Tiger stripes. He's supposed to have 2 different colored eyes. I'm well beyond that point. I'm not going to paint that. Sorry, guys. I guess it would be easy. Could paint one of his eyes like black and the other one green, but or red and the other one green. Just not that important to me. This miniature is fairly cool, but he's nowhere near the coolest of the Ronin or the hero miniatures in this game. Nowhere near. I mean, there's so many really cool sculpts. Whoa. Took me 3 nights to do this. So 1 night of just basically just airbrushing. 1 night of blocking out the 2 main colors. In this case, the orange and the black. And then tonight, just all the other. Oh, wait. I said that wrong. It's actually, first night was airbrushing. And then I did, and I had a half session in there where I did eyes and skin. Eyes and skin take a long time. Because chibi eyes are obviously, they're a little more involved. Once you do that, you're good to go. Okay, so let us, and I know we're into overtime, but that's cool. Overtime's all right. So I'm going to do this wood color. Do I have a spot for it? Is this color really going to hide is the question. Is it? Should I do? Should probably do this beige brown. It's probably going to hide better. Let's do that. Blah. In fact, I'm going to put it there because I don't care. Because the wood's going to look a little bit lighter. That's all right. No, wait. Don't do that. I'm going to put this in. There we go. That's better. And the reason why I don't want to blend it, is because I need the bases to match from faction to faction. And I don't, and I want that, so I want all my base colors to be pure, basalt gray, quick highlight, and then this color for the wood planks. So it's going to be like that. Then I'm really just going to wash the wood once that's dry. Who else had wood? Let's start with this guy. He's got a lot. I know that sounds funny. He's got a lot of wood. I know. It's like that. I mean, we're going to paint this kind of a wood plank across his legs here, where they inserted the model. I like your Beavis impression. Fire! I love Beavis and Butthead. A great show. Okay. I just like these little Kunoichi. There's that. Who doesn't have wood on their bases? Most of those guys don't. These guys do. Yeah, like these, all of these guys do. So let's take care of them. TMNT board game on Kickstarter. Cool. It should do all right. What's the name of the company publishing it? If people had bad experiences with that company, they'll post, go, don't buy it. Kind of like the Bruce Lee board game and Artistic Justice games. A lot of people had bad experiences with them. And they were telling me, don't back it. And I backed it. And it was okay. Yeah, they didn't quite, I don't feel they delivered what they promised. But it's all right. I don't know. Bruce Lee had to own that game. Of course, I'm going to be a sucker for that. All right. IDW. Okay. I don't know. We'll wait for the naysayers to hop in. I don't know that I was a big enough fan of TMNT, because TMNT kind of came out when I was a little more into like Spider-Man, that kind of stuff. I thought TMNT was a little, at the time, I thought it was a little contrived. Like they were specifically trying to be wacky and zany. But it turns out, it's a decent lore, I guess. Like somebody really clever is like, and they're named all after artists, and it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then you have that hypnotic song, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know, the weird thing is I know that theme song so well, but I never actually sat and watched a cartoon. Like I'd watch a few minutes of it, okay, dumb, and change it. Because TMNT, the cartoon, used to come on around the same time other cartoons I was watching would come on. Like I'd watch Thundercats or He-Man or something, and then TMNT would come on and go, oh, there's that stupid song, and then I'd change the channel. I'm not knocking TM. I'm trying not to knock TMNT. It just wasn't my thing. If you're into TMNT, cool, awesome. I watched the movies in, what was that, the 90s, early 2000s with the puppets. Oh, man, that was terrible. It's like, yeah, I get it. Nerd culture loves TMNT. Whatever. I disagree with nerd culture, quote unquote, on a lot of things. So, I don't know. That one just never really. There's like nerd culture that's like zany over the top, wow, funny, and I'm like, that's not really me. Like I liked, John Carpenter movies. I like stuff like that. I don't really do the TMNT stuff. But that's cool. I mean, fans of the game or fans of the genre that do board gaming should play it. I'm curious to see what the miniatures look like. Maybe the minis are really super cool. And then, you know, somebody hires me to paint theirs, and great. You know, awesome. All right. So, I'm going to take some black while we're waiting for the brown to dry. I'm going to take black and apply it around the edges of the miniature. I may need to actually better delineate the hash mark for the front of the model. Not really sure how I'm going to do that. Just going to kind of paint around it for now, I guess. Oh, shoot. I totally forgot to do the rest of the mask on these things. Supposed to highlight them. You know what? Let's paint all the basing in, and then let's worry about it. The minis look radical. Here's how sad. I claim not to be a fan of TMNT, but I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, oh yeah, the reporter's name was April, and there was a Casey Jones guy. So that means I've watched at least enough of it to speak basics. So I can't be a hater, I guess. Right? I won't be a hater. You guys, TMNT's rad, guys. Right? Sure. Sure, my friends will be jazzed about it. Yeah, I really gotta paint in the rest of the mask. If I'm gonna say I'm done with these. I didn't really, I didn't really finish the Oni. I was like, yeah, the Oni are done. No, they're not done. I have to highlight the, whatever those things are called, the horns on the mask, on the helmets. And I have to highlight up the masks. So no, sir, not done. No, sir. They look cool, but not finished cool. Not cool. Oh man. Fire hair guy is rad. Love fire hair guy. Okay. All right. So now I'm doing super boring, paint the black edge on each miniature. We're working our way through though. I feel like I've already done like 20, but it's only been like 4. At least hopefully by the time I'm done with these, the basing on the 2 Oni will be dry enough so I can pick those back up and finish painting them. Then I have to, for these hash, wow, these hash marks really are bad. They're tiny. They should have made big ones on the base. It's just too, that's just way too tiny. Whoa! I knocked the camera! Bloop. Look at Braco. Braco. Looks like I can use that same sepia ink wash to wash the wood planks. Seriously, how I still have like 10 more of these to do? I don't understand. Mm-hmm. How do I still have a whole ton of these left to do? Ah, man. Oh, that worked out. Okay. Actually, look a little better without the black marking, but I'm already done most of them. Maybe the Air Clan, I won't do that to the lip, the base lip. I'll just stay with Basalt Gray. Ah, I really screwed that one up. Painted right over the hash mark. Yeah, this was a mistake. Should have just stayed with Basalt Gray. The black lip does not look clean enough to be worth it. Okay, there we go. So that's done. So now let's go and highlight. Let's go and highlight the gold and the Oni masks. Not a whole lot I have to do, though. Luckily, not a whole lot I have to do on this front. It's mainly take that and whoop. And I'm going to introduce a little glow in there in the eyes. Actually, maybe I shouldn't. Well, the glow would look kind of cool, I guess. Okay. Seeing that? And put that in. I'm going to do an edge highlight on the horn. Ooh. Getting this weird. Ooh. The thing shrunk on itself. It's weird. Yeah, I'm going to have to fix that. That looks terrible. It's like dirt on the horns. I guess it doesn't look awful. It actually looks a little correct. But that's not what I was... Not the effect I was going for. Yeah. Here's what I'm going to do. Take a little bit of this. Just kind of feather that in. Disguise it a little bit. Let's see if I can re-wet it. There we go. It's just a little... There we go. It's just a little crawly. Creepy crawly. Not too bad, though. But it's on both of them, so I'll do it on this one, too. Just kind of... Then there. All right. And then we can do the Iraqi sand. Yeah, and then I'll do like, I guess like plasma green eyes or something. Okay. So these aren't the most detailed paint jobs, but I'm hoping just to maintain the character of the sculpt. Okay, so if I can at least do that, then they're going to look fine. That's the whole rule with Chibi. You don't have to go in and paint every last detail, as long as when it's done, it looks cool. All right, so I need Verdigris. And this might work. That might work. Actually, no, that's not gonna work. I have another color in mind. No. Like this. This will work with Verdigris. Okay. This is simple. So we're going to take this. We're just gonna use it right out of the bottle because it's airbrush color, so it's already thinned. I'm gonna put that in there. I'm just gonna put a little bit around the eyes. So we got a little bit of a glowing effect here. There we go. See? Okay. And then just take the verdigris. A little bit of water and just dot it. You're done, dude. That's all you need to do. Just dot that eye. Boing. Okay. Now let's get some kind of a Devlin wash on the wood. I'm gonna get some brown ink. Just run a little brown ink on it. That's all I really need to do. Just a little brown ink and we're good. Okay. There we go. Now it looks like a hardwood. Fancy hardwood. Okay. All right. So here we go. Cool. Cool. Everything's starting to look good. I should do a little Nuln Oil wash on the shurikens that are on the ground. So those pop a little bit. But man, these are already looking pretty fun. And we went hella overtime, but I wanted to finish. I wanted to have the rest of this week to work on Clan Tancho. And it looks like I'm going to get it. And maybe even play some Guild Ball. I don't know, starting to sound greedy here. So real quiet show tonight, which is kind of cool. Just concentrate a little bit more on the painting. Although I do like the comments. I was curious to hear what people would say about their own painting meta. So, yeah, again, if you're going to watch this on a recording, let me know in the comment section about your painting meta, how you feel about this kind of stuff that I'm talking about. You know, Why am I still like, I've got the munchies bad. It's too late at night really to be eating stuff, but I got the munchies. Anyway. Done. Let's break out a little Nuln Oil for the shurikens. And I'll just put them right there in the shurikens. Just give me a little shadow right over them. There you go. That's all I needed. See that? Then they show up. That's all I need. And then I can use it on this guy. So put a little there. Great. And then put a little here in his hair. Just to kind of blend those highlights for his hair together. Good. Maybe a little here on his beard. Also good. There we go. And who else has ninja stars on their base? This guy does. There you go. Oh, I know what I can use that verdigris for. Who else has ninja stars? Is that it? Yeah, this is a great use for the verdigris. So, take the verdigris. And hit that. Hit the little edge there. So that they, it almost has a little bit of a glowing effect to it. So everybody knows that's where the front of the model is. Whoa! I like where the front of the Yajiri is. It's actually on his side facing. That's annoying. There we go. Okay. So yeah, Bare Bones paint jobs. And they look great. They look fantastic as a team. And we are ready to roll. Let's do a little cleanup here. And I'll show you guys what we're looking at. All right. Soda Pop sending a second package, the replacement items for Malian Suicide Queen. It's in California today, so I hope I get them tomorrow. Nice. Well, that's good news, finally, right? Sorry that took so long. All right, here we go. Looks like they might actually be getting their act together a little bit here. Wouldn't that be nice? I love their products. It'd be great if I could say their service was great too. All right. So let's look at some Chibi. So here we go, Clantora, which is just about done. Oni, Kaikin, Kunoichi, oh, Yajiri, Dokkan. You get your Firehead Kanochi. And you got this guy, the White Tiger. And then you got Yako. Okay, so the full clan is 5, 7, 9, 11, 15 models. Not too bad. 15 models. So, and they're super fun. And looking forward to fielding these. I'm going to break out Clan Tancho next, okay? So that's going to do it for this video. Thanks, Tori, for tuning in, and thanks to everybody that's going to be watching this hopefully later. Yeah, I'll be in touch, and hopefully we can get some more gaming in. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Good night.